Yay Networks.
Welcome to another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I'm your host, Dr. Rady Rahban, and today, me and my trusty co-host, producer, Maria, are going to be talking about celebrities. Every time we post one of these celebrity, who got it right, who got it wrong, people seem to love it. At the end of the day, plastic surgery, there is a little bit of kind of the train wreck philosophy. You want to look at it with your eyes closed, but at the same time, you're curious as what the hell people do. Once you're a celebrity, you get the benefits and the disadvantages of being a celebrity. So you're in the public eye. So Maria and I put together a few people. In the future, if you guys are interested in asking particular celebrities, feel free to send us your list of celebrities. So Maria, who's our first celebrity on the chopping block?
Well, by the way, this is one of my favorite subjects because I love to see the before and after. The first one we're going to deal with is Melanie Griffith.
Right. So Melanie Griffith, you know, what she is going to encompass the basic principle behind celebrity transformations that go wrong. So what happens is you're a celebrity, you're in the public eye. If the average person is you and me, are being taken photos of and posted here and there one time a month, I'm making up a number. An average celebrity, an A-lister, is like 100 times a month or 1,000 times a month. So there's a lot of pressure on celebrities to look better than even the average person, right?
Right.
So because of that pressure and the natural changing of your body, they end up doing crap they shouldn't be doing. In other words, they're under more pressure to look better than you and me. So they do shit they shouldn't do if they're in the wrong hands, and then they look horrible. So I love Melanie Griffith. I think she's a great actress. I thought she was very, very charming. She was never a stunner, but she was definitely pretty woman. And what happens is she is the end result, at least the photo I'm looking at, of everything too much. So too much pulling and too much filling. That's why all of these people eventually look like cat women. You know, why do they all look the same? Oh, Dr. Rahban, why do all these crazy people look the same? Well, because they all get the same balloon-facing look. So what Melanie
It's a chipmunk cheeks.
Right. Well, what she did is all the areas that you can fill, she filled. Those are her lips. Her lips look ridiculous, and they're gigantic in an older woman. She had her cheeks filled, so they look ridiculous. And then she's had all the areas around it pulled. So if you fill your lips and you fill your cheeks and then you pull the hell out of your face, you get this Joker look or this cat look that many celebrities sadly fall victim to. And I actually, when I look at her, I feel sad because she's a beautiful woman. She obviously, someone did this to her. In other words, I mean, she went in.
And it's not like she has a lack of money that she can't go to the best doctors, but not necessarily because you have money, are you going to go to the right doctors, right?
No, it's not about best doctors. It's about it's the fact that when you're a celebrity, people want to do your stuff, right? So here I am, I'm a doctor or I'm an injector or whatever, and Melanie Griffith shows up in my office. The average person's like, well, shit, I want to inject Melanie Griffith. When the right thing is like, hey, I think you actually need to reverse a bunch of shit. You know, that's like, ooh, sounds great on paper, but you really want to be the person who operates on Michael Jackson, not the one who turns Michael Jackson away, right? So it's so Melanie Griffith's going potentially to good doctors. They're just doing bad things to her. Who's next?
Okay, next one is Meg Ryan. Also has the cheeky cheeks. They look like chipmunks.
Well, all celebrities, okay, back up. All of us age the same. All of us, everybody, every human, a Korean, someone who's Mexican, someone who's Middle Eastern, Persian, we all age the same way. We hollow in certain areas. We hollow in certain areas and we get loose skin in others. That's how we all age. The question is,
down here,
down in the neck, we get loose skin. Along the jawline, we get loose skin.
Right
in the mid face, we get hollow. Under the eyes, we get hollow. Our brows start to sag. And the question is, none of these people are doing anything that other people aren't doing. They just did too much of it. So in her, Meg Ryan, the number one problem is she filled her lips too much and she filled her cheeks too much. I actually don't think she's had any surgery in these photos. Again, at least the ones I'm looking at. And I think she just went, and you're going to see a theme. The theme is pull too hard, fill too much. Pull too hard, fill too much. That's it. That's the theme. So I just think she just overdid her lips, and she's got that ducky lip, and her cheeks are just overfilled. So when she smiles, it's like, the sort of gumball, golf ball look.
Yeah, her mouth looks totally different. And everybody, she was gone for a while, just like Renee Zellweger, and no one saw her and then all of a sudden she came out looking like this, and everybody said, what did she do to her face? So it was like an obvious dramatic change. It wasn't like they were seeing her gradually every day, and all of a sudden, little by little, she started getting like this. It was like a from overnight type of thing.
Yeah, and the truth is, I always feel bad for celebrities because they never want to do this crap. They're just under a lot more pressure to stay relevant and look good, and photos and paparazzis. And look at us, we're talking about them. So they're constantly being spoken about. So they feel a lot of pressure to do good. I just feel bad that someone takes advantage of them and doesn't say, hey, listen, this is just a little bit too much.
Right.
Who's next?
Renee Zellweger.
So the only thing Renee Zellweger did here that it's interesting. It's kind of like Barbara Streisand. Renee Zellweger in her early years had very, very low riding eyelids, to the extent that she looked like she needed an eyelid lift when she was in her 30s. But that was her distinct look. So in this photo and photos subsequent, she had her upper eyelids operated on, and they didn't do a horrible job. She actually looks just fine. She just doesn't look like Renee Zellweger. So the problem in her instance is that she had a very distinctive feature, aka Barbara Streisand's nose. And when she operated on it and it's different, it's so obvious because it's not her. I don't think she looks terrible in her after photo. I just think she doesn't look like herself.
Like herself, yeah.
Right?
That's the biggest, yeah, and she was really criticized for it. Big time.
They should leave her alone.
Yeah, well, people love to criticize.
Well, look at us. We have a show on it, for God's sake. So
yeah. Well, I think we have the show basically to not repeat something that didn't come out well. That's not
well. I mean, I think
to criticize.
Yeah, we're not criticizing it. We're just trying to point out overpulled, overfilled, overpulled, overfilled, and these are people with a boatload of money. So if you're listening, don't overfull and don't overfill. Who's next?
Okay, the next person, I'm not sure if you have heard of her. Her name is Larsa Pippen. She was married to Scottie Pippen, the basketball player, and she's in the Housewives of Miami.
When I look at her before and after, it's interesting because she looks better because in her before, she had already had a terrible nose job. So I am certain that the photo you're showing me, she has a classic, very collapsed, skeletonized nose. We talk about that in our rhinoplasty podcast. It's overdone. I'm sure she had it done in her early 20s. This photo that's in her before is like her late 20s, early 30s, I suspect. And her nose looks so narrow and thin and beaky. In her after, her nose is much wider. And that's because someone did a revisional rhinoplasty and filled in all those gaps that were collapsing. And so, yeah, I think she looks better. There's no question about it. But it's interesting because her before is not really even her real before. It's her after her first rhinoplasty.
Well, I was looking for before, and there's no pictures.
She wasn't relevant before.
Yeah.
You understand? She was not. That's her in her mom's album.
Right. There's one that I'm curious about because it's a little hard to tell with Khloe Kardashian since they touch up so much their pictures, but she definitely had a nose job.
Listen, Khloe Kardashian is the chameleon of chameleons. There is 100,000 photos of Khloe Kardashian online, and not one of them looks the same. The amount of doctoring that she and her team does to get her photos out is unbelievable. So unlike these other celebrities that are like at red carpets and they're real celebrities. I don't believe any of her photos. None. Like this photo you sent me with her like super skinny tan, skinny nose, beautiful hair. I guarantee you that's not her. I mean, she did her nose, she did lip filler, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, she did her BBL, she did her breast aug, she did all those things. But I don't believe these before and after photos. So I just don't believe it because there's too many variations of her within even a given week.
Yeah.
She's a chameleon.
Yeah.
You know, I actually feel, you'll see me constantly say I feel bad for these people because I really do think these people, they themselves recognize that they don't look good, but are just at the mercy of the world that they live in. I feel bad for Chloe because her sisters are inherently more attractive. In other words, they're just genetically more blessed. Yeah, Kim and all of them have done surgery, but they're just prettier girls. And I think Chloe, unfortunately, wasn't as attractive out of the gate and felt more pressure. And, you know, as a clan, it's just a very rough crowd to roll with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure she's lovely, but I just think that, you know, I don't know what she looks like. I can tell you that. Maria, let's take a break because we got a few more to do here. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll continue rolling on celebrity before and afters, who got it right and who got it wrong. Welcome back to the second half of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. So Maria and I are on a mission here to help you guys figure out what celebrities are doing it right, and what things you're doing wrong so you can avoid some of these disasters. All right, Maria, who are we on to now?
Okay. This one kind of surprised me when I was researching this, Lisa Kudrow. Because all the pictures I've always seen of her, but this picture of the before and after is from when she was, I think, in high school.
Right.
And
well, remember when she started Friends, she was, I think, 20. And funny thing is I'd never watched Friends when it came up. And my wife loves Friends. She learned a lot of her English on Friends. And so I watched the whole, 10 years of it. And we binged it over 2 months. And the first thing I said to her is I said, oh, this girl, Lisa Kudrow, this girl, Phoebe, she had her nose done. I could tell. Having said that, when you look at her before and after, she had a nice nose job. She has, after 10 years, it's starting to get a little skeletonized. It's getting has some of the signs of her nose job. But there's no question that it benefited her. And I think she looks comparatively significantly better. And she had it was great. You know, here she was, an up and coming young star. She had her nose job, which is not uncommon for celebrities to have had some surgery at the time that they're discovered. And I think it served her very well. Her nose, it did good. It has some not of my favorite elements. It's starting to look a little skeletonized, which we're not going to get into. But overall, I give her a thumbs up.
But didn't you say that when you do a nose job with time, it goes reducing?
Correct. Yes.
And that's why.
Yes. And so it doesn't matter who does it, what they do, how they do it, whatever. All noses change. But there are certain things that you can do during a nose job to limit the amount that it changes, and more things that you don't do that make it much more dramatic. So, but overall, I gave her, kudos.
Okay. Tyra Banks.
So there's another one. That's an exact, almost duplicate. Tyra Banks, beautiful young lady. She did her nose. And if you look at her nose, in some of her images, it's really collapsed. But because her nose was so wide before and so broad and so-called ethnic, overall, a narrower nose looks nice on her. But if you look at her nostrils when she's singing, because I have some photos of her that I use in the clinic to demonstrate some of the things that we want to avoid, her nostrils collapse inwards. And you'll see those in certain photos. But again, generally speaking, she looks significantly better. Significantly better.
Now, this one surprised me. Ivanka Trump.
Sensational. I'm talking ugly duckling to, the princess from, Frozen. I mean, she had two things done incredibly well. One was her chin. One was her nose. Everyone knows I love chins. A chin augmentation takes someone that's literally looks like they have an underbite, and all of a sudden they look amazing. And her nose job and her chin just really made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
She looks fantastic. A+.
Since I've been doing these shows, every time you tell me the chin, now every time I see somebody, I look at their chin. Like I was looking at Timothy Chalamet, and he has such an etched jawline that I said,
Oh,
that's what
yes.
everybody aspires to,
Yes,
to have.
you don't know it.
Uh-huh.
You don't know it, but anthropologically, we as humans, men and women, are attracted to men and women with distinctly large mandibles.
Mm.
A man or a woman with a strong jaw and or chin. Angelina Jolie has a man's jaw.
Mhm.
Let's be honest. If you look at her, she's got like a bulldog of a jaw. She's just
And
stunning.
great lips, which are natural. I
Yeah,
understand.
those help. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is we're attracted to, some people notice it, like, oh, I love their jaw. And some people are like, I don't know what it is. She's so pretty, or it's jaws. Jaws are key.
Mm.
All right. Who's our last
Well, speaking
celebrity?
of Timothy Chalamet, someone that he's been rumored to be dating is Aisa Gonzalez. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, but Aisa was a popular young Mexican soap opera star. She left to Hollywood to become a Hollywood star, and she's been doing a lot of movies lately. And now she's been seen dating Timothy Chalamet. She's been in several movies. Now, when I first met her, her nose, beautiful young woman, tall, slender, but her nose killed her. She had a pudgy nose. And if you looked at her profile, it looked like a hook nose. It was horrible. Her profile was horrible. Her mother, who was young, and when I first met her, I think she was 17 and her mother was maybe in her 30s, was beautiful, had a beautiful nose, but this poor girl had horrible. Now you look at her nose and it's like, wow, it was amazing.
Yeah, she has an incredible transformation because she's a beautiful girl and she has the right canvas. So she has a beautiful jaw. She's got great skin. The things that I think she did is A, she has a little bit of lip injections. So her lips are a little fuller. 2, she lost some of her baby fat. So she's hollowed in her cheeks. She may have done a buccal fat removal because she's a little cheeky in the photo you sent me. Mm-hmm. Some of that is baby fat and youth. 16, 17, 18,
yes,
19.
That's how she was. Yeah.
Some of it is like, I'm 27 now and I get a little more gaunt. That's desirable at that age. Her nose looks significantly better. And I wouldn't be surprised if she did a little bit of a brow lift like Bella Hadid, because she has a little bit of a flatter brow, or she just plucked her eyebrows a little bit more aggressively and created an arch. Whereas when she was younger, she had more of a young girl's appearance. So her transformation, I don't know who she is. I've never seen her before, but she definitely looks fantastic and good for her. She looks beautiful. And I think, listen, the purpose isn't here to say, oh, wow, she had an ugly nose and now she looks pretty. No, that's not the purpose. She did it. I'm not, no, I didn't tell her she should do it. I'm just now commenting on the work that people have done. And when it's done nice, you can see how much more enhanced they look. And when it's done terribly, I think it detracts.
Right.
If you are secure, you look awesome, you love yourself, awesome. Don't do anything. I don't care. If your nose is ginormous and you rock it, awesome. My nose is huge. I'm just saying these people have done these things. So now we have the ability to see the transformations for what they are. And now like the Mona Lisa or any other thing, we're able to analyze them and take a look. So, you know, I'm very sensitive to the idea of sitting here and critiquing people and saying, oh, she was ugly before, she's pretty now. That's not what we're here to do. We're talking about what she chose to do on her very own. And if you look at her before and after and you don't say she looks incredible,
she does.
Then you know what? I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And I think that wraps up another session of Celebrity Who Got It Right, Who Got It Wrong.
Hope we got to do this again.
Yes, as always. Maria, you love this segment. This is your favorite.
I come from the entertainment area, so that's why I like it so much.
Yes, that's indeed. Well, I always enjoy these things as well. Hope you enjoyed that show and that episode. As always, please follow us, share, subscribe, and DM us if you have any questions or anything you'd like us to talk about. Until next time, I'm your host, Dr. Rady Rahban, and we're signing off. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Plastic Surgery Uncensored with Dr. Rady Rahban. We would love your feedback. If you enjoyed this episode or if you find our podcast helpful, tell us why. Leave us a review and make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a topic you would like for us to discuss in an upcoming episode, please reach out to us on Instagram at Dr. Rady Rahban, on Facebook at Rady Rahban, or at RadyRahban.com.